Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope everybody had a good Friday out there. I'm having a good Friday. I didn't have a great Thursday. I was off yesterday. I had one of those wonky days. I just didn't feel good, like a little bit of a headache, a little bit queasy. So I just didn't fight it. About 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I just got in bed, and I was pretty much in bed for the rest of the day. I'm kind of a baby when I don't feel good. I admire these people that are like working with sicknesses and injuries and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm a big baby when I don't feel good. You wouldn't want to take care of me. Today I want to talk about basic raw food diet base to get started and build on. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you have not already subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you go down and hit that subscribe button now. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Somebody messaged me the other day on Instagram, and they were just like a complete newbie. Didn't know anything about this lifestyle, this diet, or whatever. But I don't remember the exact message. But the way they phrased it, just the newness of it was really nice, and they were eager, and you know. So I wanted to give them the best advice possible to get them on a solid footing, a solid, you know, moving along, and hopefully where it would stick. And they would get the benefits out of it, and you know, because I think sometimes people, if they're not, they don't have a good process for doing it, I think people quit a lot of times before they get to the point where they're feeling better or they're enjoying it or whatever. So just going to throw out some practical stuff for people to begin with, and like I say, a base that you can build on. You don't need to go raw, you know, completely raw overnight. You don't even need to stress on it. It's more about, just like I say, think about the big picture. Think about where you want to be. Have a you can have a plan to get there. You know, there's no need to dilly-dally and be in transition for 5 years. But anyhow, fruit on the raw food diet, and like I say, a lot of this stuff just comes from my experience, my opinion, inside my head. So everything, you know, your mileage may vary on this. For the raw food diet, and there's ways of doing it other than my way. So I'm never trying to say this is the only way, this is the superior way. But fruit, when I started thinking about this talk yesterday afternoon when I was in bed, I was thinking, okay, how would I do this lifestyle? Now, it's doable. I see people doing it, but I wouldn't really, it would be tough, and I'd have to just, I guess, start over if the base of mine was not fruit. I mean, you know, fruit has been a huge percentage of my calories over the 7 years that I've been on this lifestyle. Now, where technically, percentage-wise, the amount of fruit I take in versus the total calories I take in, I might be called a fruitarian technically, but I'm not a fruitarian in the sense that it's just about fruit and that's all I eat is fruit, fruit, fruit. In fact, I've made a real effort in the last year or two to kind of, okay, let's get a little bit more balance in there, and let's you know, try to do this thing, I don't want to say more responsibly because I'm only doing it for myself, but I just basically want to get the best results out of it possible. So fruit, if you're, you know, find a fruit that you really like. The bananas, I know I talk about bananas ad nauseum, but the bananas are just, well, number one, I really, really like bananas. I was about to say bananas are kind of the base for me because they're cheaper. I've been able to get them, you know, whether I was in Costa Rica or here. They're fairly inexpensive fruit compared to a lot of fruits, but I really, really like a banana. You know, after all these years and all the bananas, I'll still sit down and sometimes just eat a simple banana and go, man, this is really good. So for me, I've found bananas, you know, for those mentioned reasons, to be kind of the bulk of my fruit, but you'd get bored just eating nothing but bananas all the time. So, you know, just experiment. Try different fruits too. And don't necessarily discount a fruit if you eat a fruit and you're like, I don't like it, or you're just like, it's so-so. Papaya, I was like that with papaya for the longest time. I used to just joke about how bad papaya was, how it tasted like feet, how it smelled like feet. And, you know, you don't necessarily get, well, I wouldn't say you don't get good papaya as much as other fruit, but it can be harder to figure papaya out. And to be honest, people ask me, how do you pick them out? I don't know. I just kind of have this, you know, between the touch, the smell, you just kind of get a feel for it. But try out a lot of different fruits, and especially if there's something in your area, you know, try to incorporate local fruits. But fruit is a great base of this lifestyle. Greens. Start from the beginning on the greens. You know, from the story I hear from most people that I know, and this could be changing because there's more content out on YouTube, social media, and just in general. But a lot of people I know that are even like have been doing this a long time or thriving on this lifestyle just didn't get the green, like myself, didn't get that green connection in the beginning. Like, we really need our leafy greens. So I would say, you know, the fruit for the bulk calories, be sure you're getting those greens in there, because the greens are full of minerals. And you know, a lot of the fruit that we're getting, if we were in perfect circumstances, we'd have more minerals in our fruit, but this soil's so demineralized these days that you know, well, either way, we definitely need the greens. I like greens. So greens, you can get them in your smoothies. That's a good way to get a bunch of greens into your diet, is to just stuff them in your smoothies. I use them in mine, and what I'll do is I will blend in a bunch of kale or spinach or whatever I'm using with mine, blend it down, and then I'll double stuff that thing back in. So it's a good way to get a lot of greens in your diet. Other veggies too. Some raw food people are not so much into the other veggies, and that's okay. Everybody's got their own way of doing this, but I like other vegetables too, you know, different ones, different colors, beets, carrots, you know, the rainbow. So eat a variety of different vegetables too besides the greens, but make those greens the priority when it comes to vegetables, in my opinion anyhow. But get yourself other good veggies that you like. Learn how to prepare them in ways that you like. But you definitely got to have more than just fruit all the time. Healthy fats. I start eating healthy fats and get in a mentality of healthy fat, you know. I totally recommend, and people disagree or agree on this, but just kind of my way, I recommend using other things other than oils. Oils are basically just concentrated fat. Avocados, even coconuts, hemp seeds, chia seeds, nuts. I'd say the nuts in smaller amounts, or that's just, like I say, just for me, the nuts in smaller amounts or smaller part of your healthy fat than, say, avocados. But the nuts have their places too. They have some good nutrition in them. They have good minerals that we're not getting in other things. So, you know, don't be like, there's always a happy middle ground in there. You know, some people are totally out, they seem almost anti-nut. There's other people that just use a lot of nuts, but there's a happy medium somewhere in there. Big salads. Now this is where I'm going to talk about the beginner part, and I think I've mentioned elements of this in a talk not too long ago, but a lot of times in the beginning, you can kind of crowd out the bad food. In other words, if you make eating these good things a priority first, don't necessarily say, well, I got to eat this, and then beat yourself up if you eat something, you know, that's cooked, or if you eat something that you don't want to be eating. But if you just make a point of staying on that base, on this basic thing of eating, of, you know, you're learning, you're training yourself, you're getting new habits, you're learning a new way of eating, and you just always do in other words, focus on what you're adding into your diet right now. Like salads, for instance. A lot of times, a lot of people have an easy time. Not everybody, but a lot of people have an easy time, much easier time being raw until dinner. They can hold on because, you know, you're working, you've got the kids, you're taking them to school, you're taking them to practice, you're sitting in traffic. So, you know, a lot of people can make the raw thing work during the day. You know, you eat some fruit, you take some smoothies with you, you pre-pack a lunch for work or wherever you're going. But in the evening, you know, the mind starts wandering a little bit. And especially in the beginning, you're going to be like, well, I want that cooked food. I want something cooked, or I want something that I'm not really wanting to eat, or that I was about to say that you're not supposed to have, but that's only not supposed to have that you've imposed on yourself. So what I would say, and I think this will help a lot, is even if you end up eating some cooked food, if you're going to eat cooked food or whatever, eat a big salad in the evening. eat a big salad in the evening almost every night when you're a beginner, or unless you're already at the stage of making yourself some raw food dishes, and that's great, then you're a little bit ahead of the game. But just have that big salad at dinner, because what'll happen is, if you make that kind of a thing, if you eat a big salad at dinner and you just free your mind to the mentality like, you know what, I'm gonna eat my big salad. If I want cooked food after I eat my big salad, I'm gonna eat cooked food. Or there's other ones too. Another good little method is, if you need a little bit of both, make yourself a big salad, huge salad, not any of this little restaurant stuff that the normal world eats, but these big salads. Make yourself a big salad and put a little bit of cooked on there. There's nothing wrong with that. I see people all the time, a salad with potatoes in there, whether they're sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, the little round potatoes, the russet potatoes, but put it in there. If it's just about the actual cooked, the temperature, you can steam vegetables and put them on top of there. But before anything else, the point being, eat that salad at night. Because even if you do end up afterwards, let's say theoretically afterwards, you're like, okay, well, that just didn't do it, and you decide to eat something. Even if you eat something that doesn't serve you, even if you eat something that may make you guilty, although you shouldn't feel that guilt, you're not going to eat as much of it as you would have if you hadn't eaten that big salad. So it's like I say, crowd out the bad stuff. Crowd out the bad stuff, and then all you do moving on from here is just work on that. It's addition and subtraction. You add, and that can be at whatever pace you want. You add something good in, you're constantly adding good things in, you're constantly taking small things, bad things out. And that's about it. That's about it. You just start, you change your way of thinking, you change your way of living, you change your way of eating just by doing it one day, one meal, one food at a time. So anyhow, hope somebody found that helpful out here. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Have a great weekend, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.